I started the Chamber of Commerce a while ago, and my idea of Chamber of Commerce, it was different. It was about the spirit that I have in this town. I fall in love with this town. I knew, like Hotel California said, when you come, you never leave. And that's my motto. I'm here to stay. Because of business, because of people, because of mystery and love, and everything this town is to offer. And I find that every time I encounter people that, all of you, right? We all know that that's our attachment to this town. And let me just stick together from this and say, so, but I have to stay business. So, Chamber of Commerce is promoting program of civic, social, and cultural nature to enhance the value of our community. And we already have our value and our history, but adding more, because the past value, the past value, we need to create new exciting value and new exciting experience for the new legacy. When I came to this town 20 years ago, I have my amazing landlord. My landlord of this, we stand in his Vito Telescope, her uncle, and create the whole atmosphere for me to fall in love with this. And among other elements that make you fall in love with the community. So I think people sometimes question my engagement with this kind of situation, but I mean, this is preserving community and preserving business and preserving us. This is us, you know, every time we come, we create a new thing. But let me tell you how the magic happened. I was struggle so much about what would be our next events. Business, or build your business bigger, no. And I learned so quickly that I will not do nothing unless I'm inspired to do it. It's a lot of labor, and it's about volunteering, you know. And if I'm gonna run something, it has to be something that's so passionate that I can close my business and do it. And I was waiting patiently, and then even I thought maybe just drop it, maybe I handle the batons to somebody else, until I heard that a strange lady came to this property, and she was writing a book right here. First of all, it looked strange. Who come here and supposed to secretly came here, don't want to meet anybody. She's writing a book about Peapack-Gladstone. You need to meet her, right? All of us. So as a Chamber of Commerce official, right, Peter, I should investigate that. So I called,
right on it.
Yeah. So I called her out, and we started talking immediately. I'm like, she has something so magical. They continue the whole magical story that I experienced, or she experienced, and all of us. So I encourage you to listen to her. And I want to do this, I want to say that for an honor to Vito Telesco, my dear landlord. He's no longer with us. He was one of the most enchanting, mysterious, I would call it the grumpy, sweet old man.
He's still alive.
Yes. Still alive. Yeah, but he's not here. He's not here. Oh my God, he's still alive. And he will see this. I love Vito is, so everything, talking about the everything worked together for good. So this lady, she came, I don't know who she was. She was hiding there. And then I heard that she was writing a book. I don't know what was the book about. It was about Peapack-Gladstone. And then she put more juice about it. And then I say, and she like, I come secluded, I just want to ride quietly. She met me, she never have a peace.
With the wrong words.
I said like, we have to make a book signing. You cannot write about Peapack without Peapack people gonna engage you and things like that. And I know that it's more about the book, it's about the energy, and I'm honored to be part of it. And she's living Saturday, so she came to write the sequel. So while you gonna purchase today, hopefully, and she will give you a little thing. It's just the beginning of the magical story that's to come. And they're not talking too much. I think that's it, right? That's what it is. I got inspired. By finding her, I found my inspiration to continue this thing that I'm so passionate about, it, community. So come on, let me introduce you our beautiful Catherine. Thank you. She's so sad, so shy.
I can do this in front of a bunch of 7-year-olds. Okay?
but there's people here. And,
Peapack people.
Peapack people.
Oh,
That's exactly right.
Special.
That was originally the name of the book, by the way. Peapack people. Then it turned into Growing Up Down Peapack. And it changed, it morphed into Hidden in the Hills. But let me start off by saying, I'd like to thank P and the Chamber of Commerce for this exciting opportunity to share my book with you all, old and new friends. Also to Benny from Cafe Tesoro for providing delicious hors d'oeuvres. I come from Randolph Township, but I was raised in Peapack. I would spend nearly every weekend here with the Telescos, my Nana, my Uncle Vito, Uncle Donald, Uncle Joe, and my beloved Aunt Fanny. Now as an adult, I am grateful to have had the opportunity to fly home this month to finish the sequel and to find closure, to say goodbye, as this house is now for sale. A quote from Carl Jung, founder of analytic psychology. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct, from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. Peapack was the playground of my childhood, and many memories comfort and surround me here. I have saturated myself with the house and the town, but I've been looking for something hidden in the dirt behind the fireplace, something hidden in the cellar with the spiders, something hidden in the garden where you all are now. A marble, a Barbie doll shoe, a color form, a paper doll, something I can hold in my hand as evidence of my memories and people. The harder I looked, the less I found. The crooked sidewalk had been paved over. The bridges have been moved or removed, like in the park. Storefronts and houses have been updated, and the gates are now locked. Frustrated with the town, my elders, and I was getting older, changing, and memories starting to fade. I suddenly understood my connection. It had been in my heart and now in my hand all along. My writing is inspired by my past and the town that will forever live in my heart. So let me tell you about my book. Have you ever had a paranormal experience?
Yes.
I think most of us have. And we and others try to convince ourselves that the experience was not real, a mere coincidence, or told the old standby was all in your imagination. Even though I've always been curious about the paranormal and metaphysical, I consider myself a skeptic. I wrote Hidden in the Hills with the intention of exploring the possibility of bilocation, one of the lesser-known psychic abilities, that of being in two places at the same time. It's purely fiction, with characters who I called sensitives, who are schooled in a mansion at the top of the hills, a place I called Murk. What better inspiration and setting than idyllic Peapack and Blairsden, a property surrounded by myth, legends, and intrigue. While there is only a minuscule amount of hard evidence supporting psychic abilities, I have always believed in possibilities. I let you, the readers, decide what it is you want.
Bravo.
I will entertain any questions
Can't wait to
on
read.
how this works.
Yeah, any question? Where do you live now?
Yeah.
I live in
Yeah, I
Sarasota,
said
Florida.
she has fascinated. Where do you live?
I live in Sarasota, Florida. Don't get upset when you start reading the book. It does start in Florida. Wait for it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I will take you right back to those gates.
Cool.
Look forward to reading it.
Good. I'm glad.
Very nice.
She's a mother, tell you you're a mother, a wife, or something. Or you have two children, you're not just believing paranormal, you are normal.
Oh, maybe.
I didn't say I was normal. I'm a Telesco.
A Telesco, cheer for Telesco.
That says it all.
Yes, yes.
No normal in Telesco.
Cheer for that, I was a keep thing going.
Normal.
Yeah, I have two beautiful children.
Is that what she
They
said?
are-
that's what she said.
One is in San Francisco, one is in Virginia. Happily married for 35 years. In fact, celebrated my 35th wedding anniversary this past Sunday. Or the Sunday before June 9th. I was here on that weekend. 5 years ago. My husband stayed in Florida, but I was able to go to the church up here where I got married. I was married in that church. We baptized our children in that church. We buried family members in that church. That church has seen full circle for me. I would go there every weekend with Fanny and Vito and my Nana.
That's nice.
In fact, speaking of paranormal, I will share this with you. I haven't really shared it. When I was in that church, and it's been a long time since I've been at the church, and it was 35 years ago, and I wanted to go and celebrate in that church. I think there was a confirmation of some kind. But I sat close to where the pew was that I sat with my Aunt Fanny and my Nana. And, but not as far. Like it looked like there was something set up, so I didn't want to go too close. And I hadn't been in that church for a long time, so I didn't know what was happening. But I sat back a little ways, and there was a couple people that sat in the pews that were marked off, and not a lot of people around me at all. So I'm thinking, well, 10 o'clock mass, you would think 9:30 there would be a lot of people in here, but maybe something's happening, I don't know. So during the communion, I'm sitting there and I'm just taking everything in. I'm absorbing the church and remembering the funerals and the weddings and the christenings and all that happened with me in there. And I had a presence. There was nobody sitting next to me over here. I was in the middle of the pew in case people wanted to come in. Sat in the middle, there was nobody here, there was a lady at the end. And forgive me if you were in the church this day. There was a lady over here. I felt a presence next to me, and it was my Aunt Fanny. I knew, no doubt in my mind. And I had my eyes closed, I was kneeling down, and I opened my eyes really wide because I'm like, what? And I looked over and I knew that she wasn't there, but I felt her presence so strong. When I looked over there, they were starting communion in the front, and I looked in the back and I saw my Nana. I swear to you, saw my Nana, the vision of my Nana with her cane and the black veil that she used to wear, the black clothes, because they used to let her go first for communion because she was old and they wanted the old people in the back to come up forward. And I saw her. I lost it. I completely lost my mind. And I'm like, this lady had just passed in front of me to communion, and I tried to get out. That church was so full behind me. I had no idea there were that many people there. And I'm like, just the tears. I couldn't get out of that church fast enough. I was so emotional. I wasn't sad. I was just overcome with the fact that they were there. And I know that they were there 35 years ago in spirit when I got married as well on that same day. So it was very, very emotional for me. So I apologize if I ran past any of you in the back of the church that day. Who is this crazy person? She's just running out, blithering, idiot. Like, the tears are coming down. But
Yeah.
So I believe in possibilities.
Very nice. Why not?
Any question? Where's Ari? Ari had all the questions.
How long did it take you to write the book?
Yeah.
About 15 years ago, my dad passed, and that was the last time I was in Peapack. And on the plane to his funeral, my husband stayed with the kids. I was alone on the plane coming up to my dad's funeral, and I had a vision on the plane. I wasn't on anything, I don't drink, I wasn't taking any medicine, but I just saw a vision in front of me. And if you have read the book, it's the airplane scene. If you haven't, it's the airplane scene. It was very powerful that I saw this happening in front of me. It didn't happen, but it was in my imagination for whatever reason, stress, I just saw this. Again, like vision, I just saw it. And I wrote it on a napkin. And I got to my father's funeral, and I knew that was important. And I thought, this is a really interesting thing. I'd like to write more about it, because I've always liked to write. So I got to my dad's funeral, and my dad was from Pennsylvania. And my mom obviously was from here. She was a Telesco. And we always were here. And it was at Bailey's funeral home. And when I went into Bailey's funeral home, I looked around at the people that were coming in to pay their respects to my mom and dad. And none of them looked like they were from my dad's side, let's just say. I didn't recognize, my aunt and cousins were there and everything, but everybody else in the place were Peapack people. That's what they look like. They're just Peapack people. They're here to support my mom. They're all Peapack people. So that was the original name of the book 15 years ago by that scene. And then I started to morph it into memories of growing up near Blairsden and developing characters and talking about that scene somehow, paranormal, connecting the two. And then it morphed into growing up down Peapack. That was the second title of the book. until my characters really started taking on a life of their own, and I was listening to them, and they started to make the book. And at one point, this is over several years, I think, I had the opportunity to just, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom for a little while. So I was putting together this, and once the characters started, I started to listen to them, it just took off. I mean, I just would just be typing like I was watching a movie. And at one point, one of the characters would not do what I wanted her to do. I knew where I was going, tried to get her to take me there. She would not say what I wanted her to say, no matter what. I couldn't find the words. It just wasn't coming. So I said, fine, you sit over there on the side and let me finish this book. So then later on in the book, she comes in and she says what I needed her to see way back in the beginning. And it completely changed the end of the book. Completely. Where she took me, I was not going there at all. That was not the ending of this book. What you're reading was not the original ending. My characters had a life of their own, and I just let them go. And then they finished the book for me.
Great.
So I think I know where I'm going in the sequel. I really like the ending. I'm just hoping that my characters can cooperate enough so I can take them there. But it took me a long time to actually develop it. And then this one, not as long, because I learned to listen to the characters that I put in these places. Plus now I've got the influence of being back here and collecting, you know, the mystique and the background more so now. Because I wrote the book when I was in Florida. From my memories of being here, you know, 15 years ago for the last time. And it wasn't even here, it was just, you know, Bailey's funeral home in the church. So.
Is this your first book?
This one is the first one, yes. But I plan on at least 4, maybe super baby 5. That's right.
You know, we have a nice Blairsden collection at the library.
No, I
Very
didn't.
good.
So if you know how to do research.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm not familiar with your book, but is this based on a true story? Is this fictional, non-fictional? Or is it based, or is fiction based on true events?
It is absolute fiction. 100% took liberties with everything. Did not want to mention Blairsden. Had never really been in Blairsden, been on the outside. Read about the mystique of Blairsden. Didn't want to put Blairsden on the map, so to speak, so that they would get extra attention that they may not have liked. The true part of it is some of my mixed memories of Peapack and when I was here and when I played here for the characters' background, and some of the scientific evidence of bilocation, some history about that, little tiny snippets of other paranormal, metaphysical, scientific documented things just peppered in the book. So I wanted my reader to have the choice of thinking, did it really happen? Was she sleepwalking? Was there something else going on? You know, what? I want a reader to question, is it possible? Because I believe in possibilities. So I made it believable. I was hoping to be believable. And to be honest with you, this book was written for middle school. I wrote it, didn't dumb it down, but I made it so that I could get it into middle school. So I'm a librarian in an elementary school. And I knew my 5th graders loved this stuff. They eat it up. You know, the paranormal, metaphysical, you know, Loch Ness Monster, any of that weird stuff that's in the 100s. They love it,
Potter wasn't
right?
born yet.
They love that stuff. So I decided to publish when I thought, you know, my kids would really, my 5th graders would eat this up. I'm going to try it. I'm just going to let it go and publish it and see what happens. But when I published it and I got it vetted, they said, oh, no, wait a minute. I go, what? I go, there's no sex in it, there's no swear words in it, it's very easy for 5th graders to read. And they go, well, I have a problem with the first paragraph.
Okay.
Yes.
We're
There was an affair that I mentioned and 100 years ago, and I even wrote it, you know, spread his seed. You know, I didn't even say it was sex, I had to have an affair for the book to work. And it had to be a secret affair with a married woman. I needed that. But they said, oh no, this is high school, you can't do that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I worked so hard to make this. Didn't use big words.
PG.
You know, maybe total PG.
PG plus.
Peapack, we are
So-
You saved it.
It's a fiction book.
It's fiction, but that one is fiction.
It's fiction. Don't, I will warn you, because I know Pia has mentioned somebody was, skipping through chapters. Read it straight through. Don't look at the back. Don't look at the end. It will spoil it for you. But you will find closure in the end. If you're confused, you won't be when you get to the end.
For an adult, it's a quick read. I read it last night.
Yes, it is a beach read. I wrote it for 5th graders in middle school. So it's a quick read. It moves quickly. There's no sex in it. So when they told me that I couldn't use it in my school, I'm like, forget you. Guess what the next one's going to have? Because there's no way. I work so hard, and you can't say I can do this. Oh, I'm taking all holds barred now. We're going. The second one, the sequel is nothing like the first one. The tone is nothing like the first one.
Who did your vetting?
The head of the libraries. He's my boss.
I mean that you have another before this.
No, that's the first.
And
But the sequel, this is very calm. The next one deals with a much heavier subject.
Oh. And when is coming the second one? The heavy side.
I'm trying to finish it here.
I didn't let her because we had to have that. Don't you think we
I got derailed. I talked about the first one.
Oh, okay.
But I've been absorbing everything to put into the second one.
So, you obviously have some great memories here. What was your fondest memory here growing up? You grew up right here. I'm just wondering, what do you remember most about your experience here?
Well, being raised by, I have a mom and dad and they love me and we were in New Jersey, but for whatever reason, my parents, and I still don't know, and I don't want to ask, but my parents would drop me off here every Friday night, and I would have sleepovers every Friday night to Sunday. Help my Nana with the pasta. We'd have the whole family come here. All my cousins and aunts and uncles lived in a radius of Grandma's house. So that would probably be it, that I would be able to spend the weekend and help my aunts and uncles and Grandma get ready for the big family meal that happened every single Sunday. My Nana would cook macaroni and meatballs and the whole family. So the extended family was always here. I grew up with the extended family.
You sure was it visiting the library?
The library was at the brook, at the pond. I went in there. I did. I went in there because I found a bunny out here. And I wanted to learn about, walk up the library, find out how to take care of a baby rabbit in that tiny little library.
Kathy, and tell about the stories in the salon. People don't know there's been a salon and a barber shop here almost 100 years. So we're standing in the ground, right? You were working here.
Yes, that's what I did in the summertime. Is my Aunt Fanny would go on vacation for a couple of weeks, and I would, stay in her room and I would work the shop for Vito. He would be the hairdresser there. Fanny would take her vacation, and I would have to answer the phone, sweep up the hair, put the curlers away. If we could hear the phone in the house. So if the phone rang, if I was helping my Nana, I'd have to run through the barbershop, run through the house to the shop because it was open. I don't know if you're familiar with the shop. There was a door there, and there was a door to the house on the other side of the barbershop. So I would hear it, and my job would be to run through the house, answer the phone, make the appointments, go back, help my Nana, take a ride up the road, on my bike and pick up all her medicine, and she'd have me a little bit more money because the penny candies were behind the register.
Davis Drugs.
Yes. It was like a soda shop, and I remember, sitting on the counter. Was a phone booth there?
Yeah.
I believe it. I don't remember the phone booth. I remember the penny candy.
An old-fashioned.
I totally remember the
Frankie
jars.
Ginny's supermarket was there too.
Yeah.
Frankie
The
Ginny's.
post office, go get the mail.
We all worked there one time or other.
Pick up all the errands for Nana.
Cool.
Yeah, this is my playground. I had my freedom here. I didn't have my freedom at home. I wasn't allowed out of my yard.
Encounter? No encounter here?
If I have, I've put it down. I don't remember it. Maybe the inspiration will come while I'm here. That's why I was, waiting to absorb what I can about the house. Don't think I went in that basement because I was. The first thing I did as soon as Donald dropped me off or Michael dropped me off, let's go to the basement. There's got to be something in the basement that's mine. I was down here. There's something in this house that's mine.
My question is I'm sorry. No. So the first book you pretty much wrote from memories in Florida. So this second sequel book you wrote actually being here? Do you feel like you got so much more being here? Or do you feel like because it's so instilled in you and a part of you that the first book is...
It cemented it. There's a lot of descriptive in the book. The first one, it was wintertime, so it was summer in Florida forever. You know, it's always summer in Florida, so I had to lean on those memories of winter and the visions that I remember of New Jersey and back in the winter. So Blairsden, what it might look like looking out the window, Blairsden. So this time I can instill in this new character this summer, you know, the park. Apparently Blairsden now is going to have a pond on the property because of the influence of the swans. So I took great liberties with what I called Merc. Really, I set as Blairsden, but I've never really been in Blairsden, so I had to imagine what it might look like in there. Probably doesn't look anything like that, what you're reading. If you've been in Blairsden, I don't remember being in there, except as a 4-year-old right there at the door. But
you went there, but you were so young.
I was 4 and I didn't move. I was like, stay there, don't move. Mother Spirit is talking, okay.
But don't you believe that you absorb all the energy? You don't need to be...
Well, it's whatever came out, you know, in the book of my seeing it. I wrote the book like I was watching a movie. Like I was watching a women's lifetime movie. That's what it is. It's a 2-hour, let me sell them the screen, you know, screenshot. I wrote it like I was watching it. And I wrote it so that my reader can see it and let it play out in front of them and be there with me. I want you to feel it. I want you to smell it. I want you to know what Peapack feels like. I want you to feel Blairsden. I want the air. I want you to feel the air in Blairsden. So I wrote it as descriptively as I could from my head. So with the next book, it's going to be, I'm hoping, as descriptive, but now I can actually feel it and be here and feel the atmosphere and see the ducks and watch how they react and how my characters might react in that situation. You know, those swans that match it.
Only when you're by the babies.
Right, and there's baby up there. So he was sitting at the pond right away, you know, getting my inspiration. So it's funny where you pick up inspiration. I was at one of the restaurants, one across from Dominic's, a new one. Yeah, and they didn't want me to sit outside because it was windy, and everything's blowing around. I'm like, no, I really want to sit outside. So I'm sitting outside. I'm like, just inspiration comes out of nowhere, and they served me a veal, and veal is on every menu in Peapack. Every menu you look at, you can get veal. I'm like, you can't get veal in Sarasota. I've never seen veal on the menu. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, and usually everything you get in Italian, like I was raised, is in sauce, right? So my new character is actually going to be instead of Florida, she's going to be in South Carolina. So I'm going to be trying to connect Blairsden and Peapack to South Carolina. And one of the things I'm able to do now is look at the food. There's veal here. You know, my character is going to eat a lot of veal, but in South Carolina, it's fried food and crayfish, and you know, it's going to be in the Low Country. So I get to compare those two memories for my character as she grows up to put it into the new book. So the inspiration is really incredible. I write everything down and try and fit it in the book.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions there? So the book is here. She could give you a dedication, and we're looking forward for the sequel.
So where did you write it in Florida? I was just curious. Where was it in Florida?
Actually, the reason it ended up starting in Florida is because I was looking into the publishing aspect of it.
Oh, okay.
And there were some local publishers that had very good prices on publishing. They weren't great. And you know, they would say, you know, but in order for us to publish your book, it has to be based in Florida. I'm like, well, I'm only just starting the book, why not? You know, so I started in Florida, and it just
Wow, that's great.
came to be that she got whisked away,
Wow.
to, you know, packed in.
I gotta go my purse.
I just want to say something.
What's that?
When do you anticipate the sequel being published?
I'm hoping Christmas time. I pushed myself a little bit to finish it this month, but once I get home, I know there's not going to be that.
Will you be back here around that time? Because we have to set up our programs like 3 to 6 months in advance. Before I book November, if you're going to be here in December, we can maybe set something up with you.
I would hope to read. Maybe we can do Blairsden. Maybe we should.
I prefer the library only because more people I get in the library and more people get the library cards and things like that. The better it is for us. Okay, please. I bring you my book.
Yeah, how are we doing?
Yeah, Michael. What's Michael? Michael, this. Michael. Yeah, it's $10. So you can leave it. Yeah, $10. And if you want to get more, it's on Amazon.
This is for me and the two of us because I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Two books, okay?
You want to put it here? You guys did?
I already did.
Okay,
I'm on there.
yeah, that's good.
So should I make this out to the
Just so we know, different sign you something.
Peapack-Gladstone branch of SCO.
I was so in love with the story. That's what I could not help
My higher
myself.
ups.
Even though it's more about just the about the whole
Right.
family. I love it.
It's a place.
I thought about the books
That's why I'm asking.
Some of the nappets.
You should try this one.
And make this a
I know, it tastes. It's so